but also serves as the Vice President and Administrator of the Bujari High Impact Leadership Institute. As I said, we are going to let Jonas and Moses, just for 2 minutes each, give a general salute to the audience, and then we move to having 15 minutes to Jonas to tell us about the accountability as the epicenter of leadership, from his experience, his reflection, and which have been authored into a book. And then 10 minutes for Moses to kind of second that discussion that will be coming from Jonas. And then we are going to have some minutes for some questions, leading questions from myself and some questions from the audience. And then about 15 minutes for reactions from the two. And then with that one, we shall be remaining the very few minutes for conclusive remarks at the end. So Moses and Jonas, 2 minutes each, please come in for a general salute to the audience. And then Jonas, you'll be the first one to reflect on the topic of today for 15 minutes, and followed by Moses for follow-up, and then we proceed like that. So you're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Mukasa, for this opportunity. And since I'll be starting to speak, let me begin introducing myself so that I also have time to relax before I start speaking. I'm Jonas Bujari from Tanzania, a business administration student in St. Paul's University, as Dr. Mukasa has stated, and the Vice President and Administrator of Bujari High Impact Leadership, which has given us the chance to be here in this webinar today. And currently the National Coordinator of Zindigi Prize, which is an organization that supports and builds business ideas from university students and gives and provides them with the fundamental startup that they need to make their businesses and dreams a reality. And I am also the author of the book Accountability, the Scent of Good Leadership, that we shall be delving into in a few. And I think I will conclude by saying that thank you for all who have made the time to join. And this is going to be a very interactive session. So
okay, that was good.
We'll at least one friend so that we don't miss out in this wonderful session. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now, Moses, please, 2 minutes just for general salute, and then we. Hello, Moses. You have a low bandwidth at BIRIT network. Could you perhaps, once we see the face, Moses, the face of Moses, then you switch off the video, because there's a message coming up that the bandwidth is a bit down at BIRIT Tanzania network. And that's where we're kind of struggling. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Oh. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, but they seem to be lost. The speakers have been lost. Hello?
Yes.
The speakers are kind of lost. You can't get them.
Moses is also getting some.
Moses? Hello?
Internet as well. I'm saying Moses is also getting a bit of a problem with his internet, so he's trying to join.
Okay, can you share in case you are in the same room? Looks like you are in the same room.
No, we are not in the same room.
You are not in the same room. Okay.
Yeah. Could I maybe start giving the
Yeah. Let's
overview
take
as we wait for him?
Let's take the 15 minutes for you.
Okay. So
And then when he comes, we shall bring him on board.
okay.
Please, you are welcome.
Okay, so as I had said earlier, I am Jonas, and for those who have not seen a physical copy of the book, this is the physical copy of the book. This is how it looks like. And as you can see, it's written Accountability, the Center of Good Leadership. And so I will briefly say the chapters that are in this book. The first chapter is what is leadership, followed by life during leadership. I mean, life before leadership, life during leadership, and life after leadership, followed by how good leadership can change the world. And we have our conclusion. And so as we begin, I would like to read the acknowledgements as they are written in this book. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for the blessings that have enriched my life and propelled me forward on this exciting journey towards success and leadership in the new generation. I extend my thanks to my family, especially my father, Dr. Bujari, my mother, Rose Bujari, my brother, Paul, and my twin sisters, Blessing and Glory Bujari, for their unwavering support in my personal life. I'm also grateful to the administration of Centennial Christian Seminary for entrusting me with a leadership role, thereby contributing significantly to the development of my unique leadership skills. My appreciation extends to all the members of the students' government with whom I have collaborated. Special thanks go to Reverend James Mulali, Madam Grace Kinyanjui, and Miss Jane Wangari for their thorough review of this book before it went to print. Lastly, I extend my gratitude to all my friends who have been pillars of support throughout my school leadership journey. And those same friends are also a majority of people who I see here in this webinar today. So I again would like to express my deepest gratitudes to them. And so delving right into the book, Dr. Mukasa, I would request that I talk about it in 5 minutes, then maybe Moses can come and chip in so that we have a more interactive session with questions from the audience or you. I don't know if that's okay with you, sir.
Yeah, that is fine. If 5 minutes looks okay for you, then take the 5 minutes. Then we bring in Moses. Then some 2 questions from me for both of you each, and then the audience, please.
So the book is very, very rich in a lot of things. And so I'll talk about one thing, then we'll go into others as we go on. So I'll talk about leadership without a title, which is a part of this book. And so as I begin this book, I talk about physical authority and intellectual authority. So physical authority is the authority that every leader with a title has. It's the authority that the president has as the commander in chief of the armed forces in a particular country. It's the authority that someone has as a minister, someone has as a member of parliament. But intellectual authority doesn't necessarily go with physical authority. To mean that intellectual authority is something that you gain from the people that you lead. And it's something that most of leaders we have don't have. And so that generally gets us to the point where leaders have to force something so that it can come to pass. So what is this intellectual authority? There is something in which people have to respect you because you are a president of an association. But there is the respect that people give you, not because you are a president, but because you are a president who does something that he says he does. And so to have this kind of authority, you don't have to be a leader. That is, you don't have to have a title to have intellectual authority. And I also talk about it in the book that you don't have to have a title so that people can call you a leader. A leader is seen without a title. A leader can be distinguished from a normal person, even when someone tells you that what's your title and you don't have a title, but yet you are still a leader. You can get to a place and you say something and people respect your views. People honor what you have to say and people look forward to whatever it is that you have to speak because they expect greatness from you. So a leadership without a title is when you can exude your personal greatness to a wavelength that everyone can see. And so you don't have to go to a place and start saying that I am a president to get respect. You go to a place and you get respect and people start asking more about you. That's when they realize, oh, he's also a president. Oh, he's also someone else at a certain point. He's a leader in a certain point. But if as a leader, at every point that you go with the merit that I have a certain title of a leader, there is some place that you are going wrong. Because leadership as a gift from God is not something that you have to parade. It's something that has to parade you instead. So leadership is not something that people have to ask. It's something that people have to see automatically. It's something that you walk in a room and people see leadership out of you. It's something that in everything that you're doing, people can easily see that this is a leader that we have. And so this is found in chapter 1. It's in chapter 3. It's in chapter 3. And as I as I finish, I'll maybe talk about servant leadership, which is one of the things that we uphold a lot in Bujari High Impact Leadership Institute. That is servant leadership. And what is servant leadership? I am not sure that all of us in this webinar are Christians, but I'll
gain experience. So yote ni experience goes into your resume, si ndio?
So it's something that we uphold in Bujari High Impact Leadership. And as I was saying, a very good example of that is Jesus Christ, who in many ways shows that to be a leader, you don't have to be someone who is above everyone at all the time. As a leader, there are times where you need to go down, you need to be humble and associate with the people you lead at a personal level. And that is something that most of our leaders lack at a political level. Most of our leaders lack at family level. Most of our leaders lack at religious level. That we don't have leaders who can say that because I'm a leader, it doesn't mean I don't talk to people I lead. I have to talk to people I lead and know what they are going through. I have to live with people I lead so that I know what they are going through, and so that when I solve a problem, I solve a relatable problem. I don't just solve a problem because I heard about it somewhere. And so that's something that I would hope that for young leaders in this webinar, young leaders that will watch this webinar in future, young leaders that will read this book, will come to understand that leadership is not about driving fancy cars. Leadership is not about being famous. Leadership is not about getting bodyguards, but leadership is about understanding the people you lead. Leadership is about knowing what they want and how best to give them. And with those remarks, I think I have spoken enough. And thank you, Dr. Mukasa.
Oh, that was wonderful, Jonas. Yeah, I could see the way you have been able to articulate in terms of to articulate in terms the way a leader must be able to persuade or influence people's perceptions as the main trait of leadership. And the other powers, the physical authorities, are just the auxiliary authorities, with the central authority being that of the knowledge authority, as you called it, intellectual authority, that you are able to influence or persuade people's perception. That was good indeed. Good to hear that. Now, before we come to some few follow-up questions for you to elaborate further in some of the areas that you have touched in your talk and in some points in the book, let us listen to Moses. He was late because of the technology problem. Moses, please, you are most welcome. Just a few minutes for a general salute, and Hanley, tell us about your reflection on the job that have been done by Jonas, the authorship and the talk that he has just completed. I'm sure you have been together. You might be much more advantaged than most of us in terms of knowing further what is the motive behind this effort by Jonas, because you've been part of the team for support and all this kind of moving together. You are most welcome, Moses. Hello? Do we have Moses on board? Hello? Jonas, do we have Moses on board? Don't seem to see.
He was here. Hello? And then he was here and then he got lost again.
Got lost again. Oh, this technology problem. What do we do then? Should we invite some? Let me do some two follow-up reflection for you. And then we invite a few questions. And then once more this is available, we can always bring him on board as an interruption, no problem, because we have to move up with time. Yeah, this was wonderful job, as I said. This has been a wonderful job, as I said. Congratulations once again. It's really, as you know, the purpose is to give this kind of opportunities to the youngsters, to inspire across amongst yourself, but to inspire the elders, but to learn from the elders. I've been privileged to go through your book, which has been quite interesting. Of course, I have quite some area that I would like to touch, but in the interest of time, let me just do just on two of them. On chapter 1, I don't remember which page, you discussed on the despotic, you called it despotic kind of leadership that Hitler had. Hitler, perhaps Idi Amin of Uganda and the like. You called it despotic. I might call it aristocratic or harsh rule of leadership. And it says clearly in your writing that some authors, some scholars had linked the Hitler leadership as a prompt that led the way to shifting from that kind of autocratic leadership to a more intelligent and motivational leadership style. Would you like to kind of enlighten a little bit on that? In case you had an opportunity to go through a little bit of the history of Idi Amin of Uganda or Hitler, is the one that you cited, just highlight a little bit on that, and how could that be a lesson, kind of learning curve for the young stars that are coming up as leaders? Just briefly.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. And I would say that sometimes to see a problem in something, something has to go terribly wrong. If something doesn't go terribly wrong, we get blinded by the fact that it will be okay, and this is just something that will go and pass. But the moment that something terrible happens because of something that you could have done something about, then you think in a different direction. And so going into bringing it closer to home, and maybe I speak about Idi Amin's dictatorial leadership in Uganda. It's something that was very wrong, very cruel, and there's a lot of things that I believe our history tells us that he did, which any human in his sane mind would not dare to do. And so after that moment is when everyone comes together and says, guys, there is something terribly wrong here. We have to change the way we do. And so you see, after World War One, there are certain amendments that were made. There was something wrong somewhere. And with the resolutions, still World War II happened. And that still brought the questions that the resolutions in World War One were good, yes, but not good enough. And so with in that same reasoning, there are other resolutions that came up after World War II. And so the resolutions that keep being updated every now and day, and then so that to make sure that World War III never happens. And there are a lot of times when, as the world, we have gone to the brink of going into the war, but there is a way that we have managed to tackle and use the resolutions that we have to avoid it. And so leadership is in the same way. It evolves, and every single day we learn on how to do it better than we have done before. Thank you.
That was a wonderful reaction. It has given some more, enlightened us quite more. And maybe a follow-up one. On page 48 on your book, I don't remember which chapter, but page 48, you narrated something that moved me quite a lot and looks of interest, and I would like to just highlight that, and you help us to share out your kind of deep dive a little bit. You say it clearly that wealth sometimes might determine, or in most cases, determines the perceived value of an individual and the voices that someone has. And this could be a reason for some conflict in terms of maybe having some of the voiceless not being heard, or some of the issues not being addressed, since even if they were wrong, since they originated from someone who is perceived to be of higher value because of the wealth status. And you thought that this is an important leadership parameter that leaders should be aware of and take care of. Otherwise, it might be a source of conflict. Could you enlighten a little bit on that? Because it looks interesting to hear.
Thank you. Could you kindly repeat that last sentence, the complete last sentence, so that I get you properly?
Yeah, I just wanted you discussed on wealth, which determines perceive the value of an individual and voice of a person because of wealth. And you thought it might be an important parameter for leadership to be considered if leaders, young leaders, elder leaders should take that into account, because it might influence the way you look at people, the way you look at those you lead, based on based on their wealth status. Because since wealth might determine the voice or the value of someone, then could be an important parameter for leaders to take care of, to consider. You mentioned something on that, on page 49, I think it's chapter 3. Could you kind of reflect a little bit on that? Could you reflect a little bit? Hello, Jonas. Hello? Lost. Hello, Jonas.
Yeah, I'm back. So thank you for the question. And I can summarize that into two, maybe. There are two theories that the cause of corruption is because we put poor people in office. And so someone who has never had about 1 million Kenyan shillings, then is suddenly given suddenly given 5 million shillings to work with. It brings up a lot of confused emotions. That's the first theory. And the second theory is that when you put someone who is rich in power, then they only want to get richer. And that's where the saying that money is the root of all evil generates from. And so the saying that money is the root of all evil, I mean, it is true, but that doesn't mean that someone shouldn't have money. And there are some things that we can draw back and slowly to basic humanity and humility. That is, why should you have excess when someone has nothing? Which are things that someone would either choose to care about or choose not to care about, which is mostly just basic selfishness. And so when I talk about wealth, it's that it's not bad to be rich. It's good and it's commendable to be rich. But again, as a leader, how how does your wealth help the people that you lead? How does the money that you brag about help the people that you lead? And why did you become a leader in the first place? Because we are all aware that being a leader has its perks. That when you are a leader, then there's a lot of things that you get. You get a free car if it's a government position, you get a high salary, you go into a meeting, you don't have to speak and you still get paid and all of that. But we go back to the basic that how does your payment benefit the people you lead? And if your payment doesn't benefit the people you lead, then there is no point of you being a leader, because it's just as much as you would have your own capitalist company. The only problem is that this time you're doing a capitalist company on the backs of the people that you lead. So wealth is not bad, but again, as a leader, how does your wealth help the people that you lead? If their wealth is the one helping you, then you're not a leader, you're just a tyrant. But if your wealth has a way of helping the people that you're leading, then you are a leader because you understand the assignment of a leader. Thank you.
Oh, that was good. That if you choose to be a leader, then your wealth should be reflecting the interest of the people. At least they get value, some value from you, even if it's not monetary, but some value from you. Otherwise, you made it very clear I should be a capitalist individual. I like the capitalist one. Thank you. Now, in case Moses is not on board yet, let's have up to 3 reflections from the audience so that we get a flavor of other people and we see how we bring together all these kind of thoughts. And so is Moses on board? If not, the audience, please raise your hand and then we let you in and we proceed. We have kind of like 25 minutes to go. So please, the audience, in case Moses is not on board. The audience, please. Audience, please. If not, then I throw in another reflection. Jonas. Hello, Jonas.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't seem to have reflection from the audience. So I'm curious. I'm curious on the listening skills kind of discussions. Listening skills as one of the key traits, characteristics for a leader. You discussed that on page 32. And it's quite interesting. Could you have some more reflection on that? Can we a bit more on that? Listening skills as an important parameter for leadership.
Okay, thank you for the question. And in the past three to four webinars that we have been having, we covered on emotional intelligence. And so I will prefer not to go into the very detail of the listening skills because we had a whole webinar on listening skills. But reflecting on the same webinars that we had, one speaker said that you have to show that you are listening.
But today, sorry, Jonas. Today
Yes.
is on listening skills within the perspective of leadership. The other one was the general listening skills concept, but today is within the perspective of leadership. So kindly focus on that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so in one because there is a very huge difference between listening and hearing. And most of us like to hear things and we don't like to listen. What do I mean by this? When you hear, it's that there is something that just goes through your ears. It's something that you hear and yeah, that's all. But when you listen, you put
Jonas, can you put the video off? Maybe it's consuming a lot of bandwidth. Can you put the video off for a while?
You put thought into what you are hearing. Occasions, whatever it is that they have to tell you to you, and you seem okay. And so as now, can you hear me? To the person, you need to give the assurance we can find a solution to this problem together. And so, whenever it is that you as a leader don't pay attention, the people you lead stop paying attention to you. In one quote that a very good friend of mine has said, and I even put it in the book, people don't care share how much you know until they know, go into the few until they know that you listen to them. And so the moment that you start listening to people, then people start listening to you. And as a leader, people listening to you has a very big part in your performance as a leader. Yeah, thank you.
That was great. Thank you once again. I'll be grateful if I could hear some thoughts and reflection from the audience. Please, the audience. Could someone come up and contribute? Because it has been left to Jonas and myself, and this is not what we intended. Could someone come up and contribute, share some thoughts, please? Yes, Yayu Budafa, please tell us.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ayub Dafa. Book which can be a guidance to leaders, especially youth leaders who are still growing or still finding themselves in leadership roles. I have no much input to say, but just to congratulate on this thing, and maybe I'd like also to know to how can we get access to the book, because I am sure some of us we haven't get opportunity to read the book, but if we get time to read, we'll benefit a lot from this discussion. And this webinar is sure that the book has a lot of things that they are important for readers to know and work on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ayub. Jonas, you see the audience has an appetite to your writing, your authorship work. So tell us, how do we get the book? Is it pro bono for free, or we have to purchase? Maybe it is sponsored, maybe we have to sponsor and purchase. But do we have online in case it's free, or for purchasing? How do we get if we can't reach you physically? Please, and you can react to the compliment that came from Ayub as well. Jonas, please.
Okay, thank you. One thing I would like to say is thank you for the compliment. I very greatly appreciate. And maybe I would point out to Dr. Mukasa that I think we had a hand from someone called Mary, and also we have a question in the chat box. Okay, so on to the book. If you are in Kenya, you can reach out to me, or there's a guy here participating a lot. He's called Steven. You can also reach out to him. I think we will share our numbers and you can get the book. It's 750 Kenyan shillings. And for the ones in Tanzania, you will have to wait a little bit, like 1 month. We will be relaunching the book again in Tanzania in the month December. And so immediately after that, let's say by 17th December, you will be able to purchase the book, and we will communicate on the prices in Tanzania by then. So for Tanzanians, for now, you'll have to bear with us a little bit. Give us just 1 month so that we also have a launching ceremony with you guys in Tanzania. And for the ones requesting online, the book is being processed and published. It will soon be available on Amazon. Yeah, thank you.
That is wonderful. Thank you. So maybe you can put on the chat box, what is that 7 Kenyan shillings in dollar? Please, we need, because we have some audiences members from somewhere away from Kenya, if you can put that. And you said there is a hand, I didn't see that, but please come in. Was it Margaret or someone? Please, I didn't see the hand, but please, you are free to come in.
Mary left, but now there is Patrick Onyango, who raised his hand. So maybe you can allow him.
Please. Patrick, please come in. Please, Patrick.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so I would want to give my reflection on what Jonas was talking about, the aspect of good leadership in terms of leaders being able to listen. I think looking at our generation today, there is something that, especially in Kenya, we call to inject. And this is something that has come because a lot of us, the young people, feel that our leaders and all, especially those who are older, do not listen. So I think this book has come at a very good time. Hopefully, some of our leaders should be able to get access to this book so that they may not get to that situation that us, the young people, are injecting. So I think this book by Jonas is really good. I think even if we can find a way to circulate it to some of our leaders so that they can get a taste of what young people and young leaders like Jonas are sharing, that there is that lack of leadership. I don't know if in Tanzania there is that element of injecting. Maybe we could hear from those of us who are from there, but it's an extremely nice book. And that is my reflection when it comes to the element of listening when it comes to leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick Onyango. That was a call to the elders. We should see how we are going to support the youngsters, in this case, Jonas, in terms of how to reach out to the elders so that they can hear this voice. And that has been recorded, and we see what we can contribute. And I hope my fellow elders have heard of that. That was our call. Thank you. Unless Jonas wants to add something on that.
I don't think I have something much to add, but maybe I can say that the situation with Kenyan leaders is the situation with African leaders, except few leaders like I forgot the current military leader, African, who has been the upfront of showing that Africa can survive as Africa on its own. And so I would also like to thank Patrick Onyango, and I think it's about time that we young people stop complaining under covers and start doing something about it. And so the sooner we do that, the better. And with that said, I don't think Tanzanians inject, but I think, as I had said, it's about time that we get serious with our continent. If we want to bring change to the continent, we have to start doing something about it and not just complaining, then going back to sleep. Yeah.
Any other contribution? We have 10 minutes to go. And we seem to have missed Moses completely. I think the technology didn't allow. Oh, another contribution, please, before I come to. Please come if I can.
There is one from Stephen.
Yes, Stephen, please come.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Stephen, and I just wanted to comment shortly about the book Accountability. And I'll just give my experience as I was reading the book and how I was feeling at the moment when I was reading a book from such a young man who, and back of my mind, I was like, oh man, if this generation, if all leaders could be like Jonas right now, because I was hearing what you're saying about listening. There's the difference of listening and hearing, and I quite understand him, because in his book, when he was giving his experience as a young leader, and hearing to be able to lead people and also to be to know the needs of the people, is that he was listening with a heart. If you're a leader and you're able to listen with your heart the needs of the people that you're leading, it's so easy for you to even take them to the next level. But only if your work is just to hear, you're only hearing with your mind, it's so quick for you to overlook certain things that maybe they might not, to you they might not be of importance, but to the people, those little things matter. So I think Jonas has really pointed out that need of us as leaders. We should be able to listen with our heart, not only hearing with our minds, because even as the Bible says that the battle is in the mind. So even the devil is able to corrupt that which is in the mind. But if we are able to take our leadership with lead these people with one heart, I think we are going to produce good leaders that we want to see in Africa. So thank you so much, Jonas, for the wonderful book. And I know many people who will be reading this book will see the picture that you had when you were writing this book. And I know they will learn a lot from this book. Yeah. So thank you so much.
That was wonderful, Stephen. Hopefully we had the moderator and the speaker with good listening skills today. Hopefully. Okay. Thank you. Jonas, do you have a reflection on that contribution?
Maybe I would say that thank you for the compliment, and I'll again repeat what I had just said, that it's about time as young leaders that we stop talking. There is something very funny that a certain lecturer friend of mine had said that during the Gen Z demonstration in Kenya, uh, he asked one Gen Z who had gone for the demonstration what he is demonstrating about, and he could not say. And as we were rejecting the finance bill, and the particular guy knew nothing about the finance bill, but was rejecting it. And so I think it's about time that we get serious and we get involved, though we have been trying to avoid it a lot. We don't want to vote, we don't want to involve ourselves in politics, and we'll later come to complain. So it's about time that we take action on our instincts, that we want to see change, then let us start becoming the change. Yeah, thanks.
That is great. And I read in somewhere in your book, yes, some point you were about to refrain from a leadership position. And you had a friend who encouraged you, and you became president, I think, or something, after having kind of refrained, but encouraged after having been encouraged by a friend. Clara, please come in. Clara, you are welcome. Hello, Clara.
Oh.
Can you tell us, Clara? Is wrong, looks like. Are you there, Clara?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. But I'm very late. I think I missed the whole session. Are you done?
Yeah, we are almost done, but we can't be done without hearing your voice. So please tell us, whatever that you were able to catch, tell us briefly. Your contribution will be so valuable. Please tell us if you have anything, if you were able to catch something towards the end.
Okay. Actually, I didn't catch anything, but I got one point from the last speaker saying that we should involve ourselves in things that are important. For example, participating in voting because we know they have an impact in the future, so that we don't have to complain in things that we can, at least we can contribute and make changes. So we just don't have to be observers, we have to act. Yeah, that's what I got from the previous speaker.
Oh, that is wonderful. And we have the local government election, the civic election at the lowest level in Tanzania next month, and we're having a general election next year. So that contribution is quite pertinent, and I think it's good that we are aware of that, and we are definitely going to take actions as youngsters. Yeah, in the interest of time, Jonas, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
I wouldn't let you go free without some homework. You did quite a good job on accountability at the epicenter for leadership. But accountability has got some dimensions. And I would ask you to take your time, reflect on that in terms of trust building as a key element of accountability, clear feedback culture as a key element of accountability, empowerment culture as another key parameter of accountability, performance measurement as an important parameter as well, role modeling, problem solving, resilience, and adaptability. If you could summarize these parameters as the petals for accountability and reflect on one paragraph or two on those things as to what extent and how would that contribute in the thought that you have already put in the book. You don't need to re-edit the book, but have a reflection on that, because we have to use this book to enrich our mindset, our thinking every now and then. You got that?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
I will do my
And
homework.
if you like, you can share that reflection to me by email or any of the elders that are participating here. I saw we have board members. You have Dr. Bujari, you have Dr. Mujinja. You can share with any of those, or if you choose me, you can share with me. But have a reflection of those as the petals for accountability within the framework of the authorship, the book that you have done. Hello? You wanted to say something. Tony, please, come in. Please, Tony. Clara and Tony are switching. Tony, who is want to speak now? Because they are almost getting to the end. Clara, you want to speak again? No. Tony, you kind of came in and went off. No reaction. Jonas, did you get the assignment that I posed?
Yes, it is very well received and understood.
Okay, and you choose the person to share with. Could be myself, could be one of the board members, Dr. Bujali, Dr. Mujinja, anybody. Feel free, but do that reflection, because you have made this book and we have to use it as a seed for further thinking from now going forward. Otherwise,
Yes.
just 2 minutes for your farewell remarks, and then we are over. Please.
Okay, I think 2 minutes is going to be a lot, and maybe I can just say that I personally appreciate each and every one of you who has taken your time to participate, taken your time to ask questions, taken your part to give your insights. And for the ones in Kenya and you don't have your copy and you didn't know where to get it, I have put numbers of people where you can get the copies from. It's just 750. And for the ones in Tanzania, we will begin giving our updates very soon on our launch that's going to happen in this December. And so I would wish you all a very good evening, and may God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless everybody. And it was good. Quite, I was very delighted, and the audience has been delighted to hear from you. And we look forward for our next session. Thank you. Bye.